everyone, and welcome to the Sam Dever Podcast, episode 40. In this episode, I speak with Ayana Taylor. Ayana is an actor I met here in Los Angeles through the Playhouse West community, and she's a huge inspiration, very positive, very motivating person, an extremely hard worker, and a very talented actor. And I'm very grateful she came on the program because I definitely left this conversation inspired. The book of the episode is actually a book I just finished, and I think it relates to the conversation Ayana and I had. It's called The Breakthrough Experience. Shout out to Avram Gonzalez, who's been on this program before, who recommended it to me. But it's really a great book of self-improvement, self-transformation, of just really digging deep and releasing those barriers in your mind that are holding you back. It's by Dr. John F. DeMartini. And again, that is The Breakthrough Experience. With that being said, here's my conversation with Ayana.
You say it right.
Whoop. Ayana Taylor, welcome to the Sam Dever Podcast.
Thank you for having me, Sam.
And thank you for correctly pointing out to me how to properly pronounce your name. I'm so embarrassed.
Totally okay. Like I said, so many people have messed it up who've known me for forever, so it's totally fine.
You know, you bring up, and we were just talking in the pre-show room. I did have, for my job, I call on doctors' offices and stuff, and I had a doctor one time, within the last couple of years, ask me how I pronounce my name, and not many people ask you that. You'll tell them how it's pronounced, and then they'll butcher it or go off. And he said something along the lines of, no, you have a name, someone gave it to you, I want to properly pronounce it when I say it. And that stuck. And ever since then, I've been thinking so, especially doing the podcast. That's why even with people I know, I double check and I find out, I'm like, oh, wow. I'm glad I asked.
Yeah, and I love that too, because what I come to find is people who have unique names or names that people just happen to struggle with, they're more intentional about getting your name right, because like, I understand the struggle, so I'm gonna make sure I get your name right. No, tell me again. And I really appreciate that too, because you get to a point you're just like, oh, like it's fine, but I really appreciate that intentionality of people. Yeah.
And I think too, it sets the tone for any relationship, whether it, friendship, business, whatever it is, to like, hey, like I'm making a conscious effort to pay attention to you and learn about you.
Absolutely. It's really beautiful.
And so how's life right now?
Oh my gosh, how's life? Sam, I've been meaning to write you back for the longest.
I've just been waiting up by my mailbox for
I'm calling myself out. Me and Sam we're pen pals, letter pals, and Sam, you are probably the most eloquent writer, and I love how insightful you bring me into your world and things that are going on with your life. And the last letter you sent me, I was like, this is a long letter, and I really want to do the due diligence of responding back to everything. But then, of course, life happens. So I haven't had a chance to update you, Sam, on everything that's going on with me, but I'll do my best to make it brief in this little interview real quick. But everything has been great, Sam. Just been moving along very slowly. I guess what direction I want to go in. Are we talking about acting? Are we talking about just life? Are we talking about, there's so many ways I could go, Sam. But
broad strokes. Just
strokes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I don't know, like I'm trying to remember the last time we wrote to each other, because I think since then I booked a national commercial with a Toyota. So that was
congratulations.
Thank you. It was a Christmas campaign special. And it was my first SAG opportunity. So I'm hoping those royalties will be nice over the Christmas holiday that come through. I've been able to work on different projects. I'm getting ready to film a short film next week with Chapman University. It's a student film, but I love how they're really getting involved with the little details. The director told me the other day he's been spending at least 20 hours just working on the shot list, just really trying to get everything meticulous and perfected for the actual shoot date this weekend. But yeah, broad strokes, keeping it broad. I been training at Baron Brown Studio. I have this amazing teacher. Her name's Elaine Williams. She's really just been stretching me and pushing me to go deep in just my intention with everything that comes out of my mouth. Like, what am I saying? How do I feel about it? What are they doing to me that makes me feel a certain type of way? Just a lot of the Meisner technique that we've already learned, just finding a way to go deeper and be more truthful, just in your work, and then just with your just the way you prep everything, you know, your emotional preparation and making strong choices and just throwing all that away and being open-minded to whatever's being thrown at you in the moment. So I've really been enjoying my teacher, Elaine Williams, and my classmates. I've also been kind of doing a lot of film festival premieres and, you know, red carpet showings.
I saw that on the gram. Yeah, you're out there.
Trying to promote myself, trying to put my name out there, you know, don't forget the name, Ayana Taylor. And so that's been a wonderful experience. I just truly honored to be a part of people who, you know, have a goal, have a dream to make and bring to life their films and their stories, and then enough to the point where they want to submit and then get, you know, accepted, and then having us come on board and watch it on the big screen. I can't tell you, it doesn't get old for me seeing all this hard work and dedication of both the director, producer, cast, and crew of making something so beautiful and then seeing it on the big screen. Because it's bigger than me. It's bigger than, you know, the project itself. It's just an idea, a dream is being displayed on this wide, big screen for all the world to appreciate and pull and have connections with their own story. Because there was this quote I came across, and it's just really stuck with me. It's just like, whenever you're watching a movie, no one's watching the same exact movie. Everyone's watching it from their own story, from their own life experience, from their own tragedies and traumas, and it's never the same movie person to person. So the fact that you make something and you put it out into the world and you allow someone to grab their hands on it and to connect with it in such a beautiful way, from there it's gone. Like, you can't even control where it goes and who it affects. It's just out there. So grateful to be working and being surrounded with creative people who allow me to help them bring their dreams to life. So yeah.
Well, first of all, that's all amazing. Second of all, that quote is amazing.
Yes.
Never thought of it like that. I guess with books I've thought about that, but movies I never thought of it like that. You're exactly right. Like, everyone's watching a movie and it's going to mean something to everyone different.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And all your film festival, you've won a couple of awards. Am I correct on that?
Yes, I won
Tell me about that.
I won 2 Best Actor awards, which has been so amazing in itself. Because for me, I'm not a person to be like, oh, like, you know, the trophies, all that, you know, the titles, that doesn't mean much to me. But when I won my first one, I think it was the Hollywood Gold Awards Film Festival, it came at a time where I was just feeling so, like, down in the dumps. Like, you know how you're working so hard with your craft and your self-tape after self-tape, you know, submitting yourself, getting on set. It just, you get so over-inundated with just the technical aspect of doing the work that it's just like, man, like, I'm done, you know, like, I'm tired. I just want to be, you know. So it came at a time where I was just feeling very, like, overwhelmed and kind of downtrodden about just, what am I doing? Am I even making an impact? Am I even affecting anyone? Am I even happy about this anymore? And when my director called me that morning, he was like, Ayana, they gave you the Best Actress award. I think I literally started crying, because it was just like, here was this film festival that had maybe like 20 other submissions, and out of all of them, it's a subjective industry anyway. Like, how can you decide who's the best out of such creative work? But the fact that they, as a group, as a collective, this committee decided that what I contributed to this film, and which was called Stuck in the Sand, they deemed that one of the most top, you know, performances, that they would give me this award. It really gave me that validation that I needed in a moment where I was just like, oh my gosh, I didn't feel the validation within. And that was a beautiful moment, and I was able to, like, thank him and thank for allowing me to run this project. And I remember sitting with myself, and I was just like, okay, Ayana, like, this is great, this is amazing, getting this award, but it's just like, it shouldn't take this to give you the validation that you need for what you're doing, because you are doing it. And it's just easy to lose sight of, you know, your dreams and how you're affecting people. And so that really gave me like a wind underneath my sails. And then the second one came, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like, I must be doing something. Like, what is going, you know? But it was an amazing film, Stuck in the Sand. Kendall Christensen, he was the director, writer, producer of this film, and he really gave me an opportunity to live a life without even saying much dialogue. You know, it basically is about me and another girl. We're basically kidnapped, and we're basically thrown in a ring and told to fight to the death. And we're in the middle of a desert. And so it's like we have to fight each other for survival. You know, it just kind of upside down. And he allowed me to really live this character, and, you know, do a lot of stunt choreography. We didn't even do a lot of it. We just kind of did it on the day of, you know, and, you know, just allow me to exercise my acting muscles. And like, I don't know if you've been in a lot of films where it's like you don't have a lot of words or a lot of dialogue. So this was really a good acting exercise for me, which is like, what is happening? How do I feel about it? What do I want? Like, it was all the exercise we learned in class with no dialogue. And so I was really grateful for the opportunity to be a part of this film, because got those awards, but that's, like I said, the awards they're nice icing on the top, you know, cherry on top. It doesn't compare to just that experience of working with him and working with my co-stars, and, you know, allowing myself to bring this project to life. So yeah. Sorry.
No, it's great. Well, first of all, you're in love with the work. You love the process. And that's important. I think with anything you do, like, you have to, if you're doing things just for results, it's probably not going to turn out too well. And even if you get the results, it's going to be extremely empty because, you know, you didn't even enjoy doing it. You got to just enjoy and love what you do. And you obviously.
Right. And I relate to that so much, Sam, because what I did for a large portion of my life, I was very results oriented. You know, when it comes to getting into college, you know, getting athletic scholarship, being able to graduate, get a job, you know, be full-time, like all the traditional things that we're taught, like, hey, you need to check off all these boxes, you need to do these things, and that somehow gives you significance, that somehow gives you worth, that gives you status. All these things I was striving towards. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm grateful to my mom and dad who encouraged me and helped me financially, or, you know, put me in sports, put me in different things to help be able to afford the next chapters in my life. Super grateful for that. I just feel like, looking back, I didn't really hone in on what does Ayana make, really just honing in on what makes Ayana happy. You know, what would Ayana love to do for the rest of her life? That wasn't the conversation. It was like, how can we get to the next level? How can we get these results, right? And so looking back, I'm grateful for the way my whole life has played out. I would just encourage people who are, you know, living life, and, you know, we have this one life to live. It's just like, what makes you happy? What fills you up inside? And to know that through and through, so that way you can start moving yourself in that direction. Even if you can't physically move there right now, you have that goal, you have that intention, and you can move yourself in that direction. And so, yeah, back to the results oriented, everything. I'm telling you, I got the Baylor University. I graduated. I got the job at my sales company in Minnesota. I moved out there, and I kept checking off all these boxes. And by the end of them, every single time I realized I wasn't happy. Like, I achieved them, but I wasn't, like, fulfilled. It was always like, oh, I did it, you know, like, well, what's next? It was just like, and I remember not being able to, I don't remember being present. And Sam, this probably sounds so bad, but it's just like, I don't remember much of my high school, like, years and memories. I don't remember much of my college experience. I don't remember really living in those moments, because I was so focused on what's next. What do I need to do? I was always in this fight or flight, like, okay, I need to get this done. Okay, I need to do this. I need to make sure that gets done, and this, and there's check off these boxes. It was just like fire, 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 fire. And I look back and I'm just like what? I'm grateful for the relationships and people that I've like the relationship I've fostered along the road. But it's just like, man, like if I just really took in a second to breathe and live and really focus on what it is that I want, what makes me happy, like who knows where I would be. But I just feel like it's just so important to just be present. And I tell people all the time, acting has saved my life. Acting has allowed me to be myself. Being an actor forced me to understand Ayanna's thoughts, Ayanna's opinions, Ayanna's insecurities and fears, and actually understanding it's okay to be different. It's okay to be to have an opinion that opposes people, or like I'm just forever grateful to acting, because it's given me it didn't give me a voice, because we all always have a voice. It gave me the opportunity to see that my voice has always been there, but I never allowed it to come forth. That makes sense. So yeah.
That's the promo clip right there. That was inspirational. Well, and you already were kind of going where I wanted to go. I wanted to take it back to what got you to LA. So you took us through you went to Baylor University.
Baylor University, sick and bad.
Yeah, you got a sales job in Minnesota. I remember you telling me that in one of the letters. And then, so what was the moment you knew probably that this isn't fulfilling me, but what led you to acting? Like, you know what, I'm going to move to Los Angeles and pursue acting. What was that moment?
It even started back at Baylor University when I graduated. I was like, so in the sales program that I'm in, a lot of people, it's highly acclaimed. There's agents and companies all over the world. They're like, well, we need to hire these talent. They come from a great school and a great program. And so people got requests from all over the world, like not all over the world, all over the country, I would say. And so people would go to, New York, or, California, or Minnesota, New Jersey, just all over the place. These companies were trying to hire us. But every single, I guess, colleague that I was like, or student, that I was with, they were like, nah, I want to stay in Texas. Like, I'm not leaving Texas. No. But I wasn't like that. I couldn't wait to leave Texas. No shade on Texans. I love y'all to death. But I was just so ready. I was not just leaving Texas. I was ready for the next chapter of my life. Because everything, like I said, I was result oriented, this and that and this and that. And the job that I got afforded me to move to Minnesota. They moved me up there and everything. But I knew Minnesota was my ticket out. And not just physically, but just starting over, really just taking a fresh new look on life. And so when I moved to Minnesota, I didn't know what exactly I was going to dive into, but I just knew Minnesota was the change I needed. I needed to get out of my circumstance. I needed to get out of my surroundings. And so when I got to Minnesota, started my sales job, great, loved it. I was like, I love my coworkers, everyone's nice, but there was still that emptiness. It's like, I got here, I'm doing everything they told me to do, and it's just like, it's not really producing the happy, consistent, I could spend the rest of my life doing this type of a thing. And so it was crazy. I came across, I was going to this church at the time, and there was this man who was the drummer of this church, and he was moving to California to live his dream to be a professional drummer. Like, that was his dream. And I was like, wow, like there was a spark. I was like, wow, that's awesome. And my husband, then fiance at the time, was visiting, and he loves to play drums. I was like, you should go talk to him. Like, who knows, make a connection with him. Yeah, I'm still a sales person at that moment. Make that connection, the sales, like, I was like, just go talk to him. And so at the end of the service, we both went over and talked to him, and him and the guy, Alex and the guy, started just, really hitting it off, talking about drum stuff. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna let them do the thing. But there was a girl standing right beside him, and so I was like, are you guys together? She's like, yes. And she was like, I'm gonna go with him. And she was an actor and a model, and I was just like, whoa, like, I don't know what, when she said that, something just like sparked in me. I was like, whoa, like, you're an actor? That sounds amazing. And she was like, yeah, like, I really love it. And I think she could sense some type of energy for me about like wanting to do that, because she's like, I can see you doing it too. You have a really good look or whatever. And I was like, me? I was like, stop. I was like, me? No, 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 no. She's like, no, for real. Like, you totally. And so she gave me some recommendations, like agents and people in Minnesota. She gave me like a referral, basically. And I sat on it for a whole month. I sat on it for a whole month, Sam. I was like, that was crazy. She just said that. You know how people just say stuff, you're awkward. I don't know you. You don't know me. Babe, she said that, and it just stuck with me, Sam. And I was like, a whole month went by, and I was still thinking about it. I was still thinking about acting. I remember wanting to do it when I was younger, but Silver Springs is a very small town, very small theater program. It was just, the idea of acting didn't like present itself in like in ways of like having a career. And so, long story long, I realized, okay, I think I want to do this. I think I want to become an actor. And so I started looking into some classes in Minnesota. Came across, and I can't say it, but I will say it, came across a scam school. But I'm grateful for that scam school, because it showed me that what they were teaching me it was so expensive for this class. It showed me, I was like, I can do this on my own. You know what I'm saying? I didn't need this class to justify my passion. I didn't need that to necessarily move forward my career, because I remember like being a student athlete, being a college athlete, just everything I've done to get myself to this point. I was like, I've had to work so hard. I've had sleepless nights. I've put in the time. If I transfer that same energy into acting, there's just no like game over. I totally got this in the bag. And so when I made that mental flip, I was like, okay, I'm starting to take classes. I started, really getting into the acting scene in Minnesota, because believe it or not, there's pretty big market for acting. So there's a lot of commercial work out in Minnesota, because there's a lot of major corporations there. And then there's a huge theater presence in Minnesota. People don't even know much about it, but it's really cool. So I came across Meisner Summer Intensive, and I'm telling you, I took that summer Meisner class, and that just like changed the game for me. I realized, okay, this was the school I needed to start with in terms of like acting. And now that I've finally got this acting class, I was like, wow. I was like, it basically inspired me to want to go to Los Angeles to do TV and film, because I'd been doing up until that year and a half of just training and getting commercial representation. I worked for Target, Best Buy, General Mills. I'd been doing a lot of commercial work, but this was my first class of understanding the craft. And I fell in love with it. And I was like, this is what I want to do. And if I want to do TV and film, I have to move to Los Angeles. And so I think, like I said, that I kind of gave you a full like picture of where I came from, but it was essential because I needed that person who I don't even remember who her name was anymore. And like I said, that's when it's like if someone just came to you and just gave you that and then left. I know her face, but I couldn't tell you her name. But she gave me that permission, and that's something I want to emphasize. It's like I needed that permission from her, but it was already for myself. You know what I'm saying? Like it was already meant for me the moment I wanted to do it, and so got that permission from her. And then from there, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna pursue this. And so, moving to Los Angeles was such a huge and scary endeavor because I was like, man, like, I think what helped me leave Minnesota and my very successful job in sales was knowing that sales was going to be there. That was the first thing. Sales is always going to be there if I want to go back to it. And second thing, what if I live the next 40, 50 years of my life doing this job and wondering what if? That was the biggest thing. That was like, I can't go through my life wondering what if. And I think those were the two main things that propelled me to leave my sales job and to come and move to Los Angeles and pursue my dream. So sorry again, that was very long-winded again.
No, for podcasts, long-winded are the best because we get drummed up and we get going, and then we just start pulling information because there's like 10 things I want to say off of what you just said.
Say all those things Because I feel so bad. I feel like I've been jibbing jabbing this whole time.
No, this is what this is for. And excuse me. The first one is, and you already kind of touched on it, like, and we've talked about this on several podcasts, but you're definitely one of those people that, like, when people like say to me like, oh, you know, you just moved to LA, you don't need to take acting class. It's like, no. It's like no, this thing's a full-blown machine. And you're one of those people I know that are going hard at the full-blown machine. Like, you take the classes, you do the headshots, you do it all. You're doing the independent films and shooting commercial. Like, you're active. Very active all the time. And I posted this on Instagram stories actually right before we got on here. This girl it was a Mindset Therapy, I think's the account, was basically talking about, imagine that you've died and you get faced with the you, but it's the version of the full potential you. And the you that believed in yourself, you. So when you said about the woman who said, you could be an actor, and like you actually believing in yourself and doing that, I think that's beyond beautiful. And like I think that's amazing, because look what happened.
Yeah,
you did it.
I wouldn't know you. I wouldn't know these amazing people in Los Angeles. I you know, just being out here. I'm telling you, when I first got to Los Angeles and I started everything, I was like, this was the best decision I could have made. This was the best decision. Like, you know, you're always hesitant, but it's like when you're on the other side of it, it's just like you're right where you need to be. So yeah, thank you for that. And what you said about the potential, like, you're about to make me like start crying, because that's just, we all have the potential. You know, we all have the beauty, the creativity, the life to bring our best selves to everything, you know, but we all don't have the same opportunities. And so I think about, I'm going to get emotional, but I just think about all the people who weren't able to really live their dream, who were able, for whatever reason, you know, it can be, you know, because of, you know, racism, or, you know, just being discriminated against in some form or fashion, or just that self-doubt, or, you know, struggles in life, whatever reason, or just, you know, whatever the case is, just not being able to live their dream, to live their passions and joy. And it sounds so jarring, but there was this one opportunity that I got. My gosh, we're getting into this, but it talked about this serial killer, and he was going on killing, you know, these, you know, sex workers, and it was kind of like, so it was just like a kind of a documentary of it. And so they had certain like submissions, and I was one of the, they sent me something because I looked like one of the sex workers. And so I looked at her page, and I opened up her picture, and I was like, oh my God, like, she was like, it was literally, she looked so much like me. And I was like, she was like 24 or whatever. I can't remember her age, but she looked youthful. And I was just like, this person was robbed of the opportunity to live their life and to do what they love. And for a long time, I had her picture just kind of on my like computer screen, just like seeing her, and she was like an encouragement to me of like, you know, like, life is short, life, you know, it can be taken away at any moment. Like, really live your life, live your dream, because you just don't know when or who or what situation. But like you said, that was so beautiful. Just your potential, the potential you. It's so amazing, because that is inspiring at the same time. It's like, oh, like, I know my potential, I know my worth, but it's just like, but then of course there's those negative thoughts that start coming in. Oh, but I'm tired. Oh, but like, you know, I submitted every day and I didn't hear anything back. Oh, like I feel like I'm spin-tailing. My agent's not doing anything for me. My man, it's just like a lot of stuff that's toxic and negative that are just as justified, that want to pull your potential away from you. So it's that constant fight as artists to not allow our worldly struggles and everything that are real life and so hard to take us away from the passion and what we're so grateful to do every day, because so many people go to 9 to 5s every day and they're just miserable. And it's just, I think about that too. It's just like, man, like I'd rather be doing this. Yes, this is hard, but I'd rather be doing what I love. I'd rather be doing what I enjoy for the time that I can do it. So yeah, this is really beautiful because it's making me really reminisce and think about, you know, what are my goals? What are my passions? Why do I keep fighting? You know, why do I continue this career? Like, I'm almost 4 years in Los Angeles, 6 years total in July of being an actor. So it's just like, you know, this isn't for the weak. This ain't for the faint of heart. It's not. And it's not for the people who want to get rich quick or be famous or for the money. Like, and granted, if there's people out there who want that, that's go more power to you. But I just feel like I wouldn't be fulfilled. It'd be just like that result oriented thing I was telling you about earlier, where it's just like, if I want to be famous, I want the money, I want this or that. It's like, you're going to get all that. And then what? You know, like I remember at the beginning of my acting career, I was like, I'm going to get 10,000 followers. If it kills me, I'm going to post every day. I'm going to put the captions every day. I'm going to get to 10,000 followers. And I remember hitting the threshold and not even remember when I hit the threshold. And I was like, not as satisfying as I thought it would be, because from that moment, I've grown so much from an artist who was like trying to get the following and trying to grow my influence, to really thinking about, okay, what is it that I want to say to people? How do I really want them to see the work and the dedication to my craft? Like I've evolved as an artist from then. And not to say that I was very vain and shallow and social media driven in the first place. I had read an article with Sophie Turner in it, you know, the girl from Game of Thrones. And she was like, it was between me and another actor, and they were deciding it was a big project. I think it was X-Men. She didn't say what it was, but I think it was X-Men. And she was like, it was between me and another actor. And she knew the other actor, and she was like, the actor is a better, she was more talented than me. I knew it. But they decided to go with her because she had the following. She had the free publicity. She had all of that, you know what I'm saying? With her social media. And that bothered me so much, because I was like, how can you be the better actor, the person be the better actor, but then you get the role, you know? And so from there, I was like, you know what? It's not fair, but I'm just going to try to grow my following and just put myself in a place where it's like I do have influence either way, whether you cast me or not. I'm more influential to the people that I surround myself with and who follow me and support me, versus you're going to use me as a tool for your whole entire project, if that makes sense. Sorry, that went like so negative, but I think.
Oh no, trust me. If I've bashed social media so many times on this, but I'm getting better, because look, it's a fine line, right? It's like you don't want to sacrifice your true self to the machine, but at the same time, the machine is a tool, and you can use the tool to your advantage. Like you building yourself up, you are just building and increasing your brand and becoming more valuable to some of these film projects, not just for your talent, but knowing like, oh, she brings, a following, and she's going to bring eyeballs and marketing power and all that. And that's good for you to negotiate with people, because you know your worth, and be like, hey, I know what I'm bringing to the table here.
Right. And you know what? I'm not even thinking it's crazy, because my following has continued to grow and all this. And it's almost just like, I'm not even thinking in that mindset anymore when it comes to sponsorships and casting and all that. Like, it's so crazy how as you grow and as your craft, as you change, like, I'm excited more about just making content that I can share with my people, like share with the people who are following me. It's not even about, I'm going to market and be an influencer and like profit off this following. It's just like, no, I have more people who want to hear my story. I have more people who want to be a part of my journey. Like, that's how it's shifted for me, where it's just like, it used to be, I need to get 10,000. Now it's like 20 something thousand people who really care about me and really want to see all the stuff that I'm invested in. Like that's like, I've just grown a family, people who want to support and just be there for me. So it's beautiful how social media can be a toxic place. But if you use it to your benefit, if you understand self-promotion isn't really about, and this is something I heard earlier, like self-promotion is probably the worst thing you can do for yourself. it's if anything, it's just you sharing your life. Don't think of it as a self-promotion. Don't think of it as like, oh, I need to put myself out there. It's just like, no, like, what would you normally do anyway? Capture that, put that out there, because I guarantee you're going to relate with someone more trying to just share your story than having to self-promote. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I've been doing lately. I've been posting more stuff about like just like my gymnastics and just like things that aren't necessarily related to acting, but it's still a skill or asset that I carry that's that still adds to who I am as a person. So yeah, so that's kind of where I'm thinking.
It's like
Right.
it's like an online. I kind of look at it too as like an online diary. Like it's like
Yeah.
if you're doing it for anyone, you're doing it for yourself. Like just capturing these moments in time for you to look back at, and for you to, and whoever wants to take a look can take a look.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, Sam, you hit that on the nail, because I think what stressed me out so much with social media in the beginning was just like, oh, is this interesting enough? Is this captivating enough? Is this are they gonna like this? Oh, the follower only got like 20 likes on this post. Like what? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like I got so stressed out over the things that just didn't matter. And until where now I'm just like, I'm posting something that I don't know if anyone even cares a darn about. Like, if you don't care about it, that's totally fine. But I'm posting it because I want to post it, and I'm telling you, that's been so empowering. Like, like, and anything could be a reel now. Anything can be, a video. Anything could be a story now. So I capture whatever it is I want and I post it. And if they feel some type of way about it, if they feel good or bad, great. I want to hear it. Like, I'm not like, that's the thing about social media. You're putting yourself out there for criticism and praise at the same time. So I welcome it all. I think it all just, people air their own opinions, and that's fine. That's what social media is for. So, because you're going to find them haters. There are always going to be some haters on there. But there's also going to be just diehard people who love you and support you and all that you do. And I'm grateful for that, that affirmation, that validation. Even though, like I said, I try to do my best to validate myself, so I'm not dependent on that, because just like someone can praise you, someone can take you down. And if you just keep that stance where it's like, I have worth regardless of what they say or don't say to me, you're fine. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, and to encapsulate everything into this, you remind me of a quote when you're talking about accolades and hitting certain marks and it not being what you thought. Someone told me a long, long time ago, focus on the work, squint at success. Mm-hmm. So just keep doing the work. Rewards are going to come. Things are going to come. So, okay, that's nice. Okay, I'm back to the work. Like, rewards are going to come. I've told this 20,000 times on this podcast, but it's fitting because we're talking at Matt Damon when he won the Oscar for Good Will Hunting. I believe him and Affleck won as writers, I believe. He was like 27. And he said it was the best thing that ever happened to his acting career because he won it an Oscar so early, and he said he was like watching like the highlights at like 2 a.m. in his Hollywood apartment. It was just sitting there on the coffee table, like the Oscar, and he just looked at it, it's like, huh, it's just a piece of metal, and it's just, and it's like so many people will like think that this is going to be everything. If I don't, I have to get this or my career is a failure. Is it a great achievement? Of course, but it's like, it's not all lost if you don't win one, like awards and everything.
Right.
So.
Right. Oh man. No, that's beautiful. And like I say, it's everything just full circle. It just boils back down to, what is it that you want to do? And why do you want to do it? I feel like that's the actor's most important question, is why? Why? Because yes, the trophies are nice, the praise is nice, the fame, all that, the money, the money, ooh, that would be nice. Or give me a Tesla, that's my dream car. But you know what I'm saying? Like, all of that's nice, but it's just like, why do you do what you do? And for me, just getting down to, like I said, I've been talking about, I want to start making content. I think that's something I want to share, like my personal stories and things like this, because it's like, I want to be someone who can, it's kind of hard to say, but it's just like, for me, like my why, I understand that I have so much like drive, and like I was telling you earlier, I was like, oh, I'm driving here and there, like, but like results oriented. But it's just like, for me, I'm at a point in my life where I feel like I just want to share stories. I want to put stuff out into the world that I feel good about. I want to push myself out of my comfort zone of making a film, of putting a project together, and letting it be my baby. Because I'm so eager to work with other people, and I'm ready to work on everyone's project. But I'm like, man, like, I want to make something of my own. And like, to me, like you said, we talked about the process. I love the process. Just putting something out into the world. And I don't know if I told you this, but I directed my first short film back in December. And I'm telling you, Sam, that was such an amazing process, because I got to direct, I got to kind of somewhat produce. I was the designers, casting director. I had such a heavy hand in the curation of it, and it really helped me understand. It's like, okay, like, I'm capable of doing this, like, I know I want to tell stories. I know I want to make movies. I know I want to tell that story that can be seen 50 million different ways, from different vantage points, from different people, how they take that story. You know what I'm saying? And so even now, like, I came out to Los Angeles to be an actor, but I've come to the realization that I want to be a storyteller in all of the essence, in all the ways that I can, whether I'm directing or producing, acting, like, and I don't know if did you go to the Playhouse West Film Festival in 2019? Did you go to that one?
It was the last one they had, right?
It was the last one they had.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah, I was there. I was at the 2018 and the 2019.
Okay, yeah. I moved to Los Angeles October of 2018. So I wasn't even in Los Angeles for the 2018. But the 2019 one was so game changing for me, because I saw people who, from beginning to end, like, there's this one guy, so impressive. I even saw some of your films. I loved your films that you had. But there's this one guy, he was the only actor in his film. He directed it, he shot it. You know what I'm talking about?
I know which one you're talking about, yeah.
He had himself a split screen. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just like,
great. It was creative as heck, yeah.
Away. I was like, here's this, and he said, even in the Q&A, he was like, I wanted to prove to myself that I can make something like, I don't have to depend on anyone else but myself. And I was like, that's it. That is it. Like, if you want to make something, do it. If you want to create, do it. If you want to sing, you want to dance, you want to, change the world, you can do it. It's all within yourself. And I don't want to turn into a motivational coach right now, but but I think that was kind of the shift I had, or the takeaway I had from that Playhouse West Film Festival, and hearing our alumni, hearing the actors and directors talk about, it's not even about like, I remember one guy, so beautiful. He's like, it's only about a moment. What is the audience? What do you want to leave the audience with when they leave this film? When they walk away and they start talking, what do you want people to talk about? It's like, share one moment that you want them to take away with. That's what the film's about. That's all it is. It can be 2 minutes, it can be 1 minute, it can be an hour. But what is that one thing you want them to take away with? And I just feel like, like, moving forward, I don't just have to be an actor, I don't have to just be in front of the camera, because there's so much that you can do, and so many opportunities to write, to share. I'm sorry, I'm getting long-winded with this, but it's just, I understand the importance of telling your story and what it can do to someone, what it can do to the little Black girl that looks like me, who didn't see someone like her, or going through what she's going through with that story, and she can relate to. It's like, what? Like, this is game changing. This is life changing. And so I think that's the vantage point that I'm at now, where I'm seeing the art, I'm seeing the craft in such a different way, and I appreciate it.
No, I love that. You're so inspirational, by the way. You're such a positive force, and I love it. And couple things. One, I just had a friend recently tell me, I'm probably butchering it, but they told me about, we were talking about like mindset and mind frame. Mm-hmm. She told me that, whatever it is that you want to do, but you're not doing it, go ahead and write out the reasons why you can't do it. Just write them
Mm-hmm.
out. And she's like, when you write them out and you look at them, you start to read them out loud, you realize like they really aren't reasons at all. They're things your mind is coming up with to
Yes.
talk yourself out of it. And we
Mhm.
really do have the potential to do whatever we want. Most of it, we just talk ourselves out of it. And this is what's interesting. That one person said that one thing to you.
Mhm.
And that reminds me too, like it really like what, just telling someone a positive comment and just giving someone like a good vibe. Look what happened to you with that. Like, look what you turned that into.
Yeah. You
But
just
how many times though people aren't going to go with that one? They're going to go with the negative talk. They're going to go with the people that tell them that, no, you can't do that. I remember shout out to Christopher Levy, Playhouse West.
oh yes,
He told
Chris.
us once in class, he goes, a lot of times your biggest deterrents aren't going to be strangers and people you don't know that well. Sometimes it's going to be the closest people to you.
Oh, you better say that. Mm.
Because it's not that they're like want you to fail or don't want you to be happy, but in their minds, they think they know what's best for you, but only you know what's best for you. And what I've really pulled from our conversation so far, because I've been going through this lately. Like
Yes.
when you aren't doing what it is your gifts are and what your truth is, you're out of alignment and you don't feel right. Like you don't feel right. Your mind's not right. You just feel, but the second you start going toward that, whoa, I
Yes.
feel great.
I'm back. It's like, woo, I've been
So, and I think that's beautiful that you were having success in whatever it is you did, but you had that awareness to be like, look, this isn't it. But
Mhm.
you were able to take that work ethic and that drive and that professionalism and move it over to the thing that you really wanted to do. And look what's happening.
Yes.
You
And
found it.
it's funny you say that, the whole professional aspect, because in sales they taught you to network, they taught you to build a solid resume, the business cards, all these things. And that was something I remember in Minnesota when I started doing for acting. I was like getting myself into rooms that I wasn't ready to be in because I had the professional element of it. And I was like, okay, I need to get my acting chops where it need to be, because like I had the professional, like, okay, the business side of show business. Now I had to bring up the show part. So, no, thank you for saying that earlier. I just, wow, like doing what you love. You know, be wary of the, like you said, the people that are so close to you, because I feel the same exact way. There was times I was just like, oh, like, love my mother to death. She's the best. She's probably the most supportive. Always been so supportive of me and my dreams. But this acting thing was different for her because we were both. Her, and my mom, or her, and my dad were very like structured and, you know, support financial. Make sure you can take care of yourself. You know, it was always in a way of like love. And so she was like, "What's your backup plan, honey? Like, what's your backup plan? What's your plan B? You know, because, you know, you're gonna lose that sales shot. Ooh, saying you good. You know, like it was just like." She's like, "Oh, honey, hold on. You ready for it? You really?" And so it was just like, I understand her concern, her love for me. But then also too, I realized people, not necessarily my mom. I'm shifting from my mom. Love you, mom. But I'm shifting to the point where like there's people who only see you through the limitations of themselves. And I remember someone telling that to me, and I was like, whoa, like they see the limit from where they're at. They're not seeing it from where you are at and where you want to go and where you want to be. So you can't let someone else's limitations of themselves be projected onto you, and you believe that and take that and stay where they are, you know, even if it's out of love, they're trying to encourage you. Because I'm telling you, there's going to be resentment there, and it's going to be either towards you or towards them or towards whatever, because if you take that and you run with it, it's going to run you right into the ground. So I agree so wholeheartedly with Chris said, because man, it can be dangerous. So I'm just so grateful to be surrounded by people who get it, who get the dream, who get the struggle, who understand it. You know, shout out to my husband Alex, like he understands like the struggle of being an artist and what that's like, and he's not doing what he loves to do because he loves to play music. He's a musician. He loves to play drums, like we indicated earlier. You know, he loves to write songs and plays the piano. Like he's very artistic, but he's in that that window where he's doing that 9 to 5, that struggle where it's like I have to financially, it's like the money has to be there, for us to be able to take care of us and do everything. So I understand the struggle, and just surrounding yourself with people who get it, who understand you, and who will continue to encourage you. Because when you lose sight of that, and that light starts to dim, unless you have those people there to push you on and encourage you, you're more likely, just going to, like I said, it comes from within, and it's hard to keep that flame alive when you've been just pounding and been pounded so hard, and life has just not been pretty, and because I understand that side of it too. Like I said, like, your dreams are important, but you gotta, at the end of the day, remember to take care of yourself. You have to be able to nourish yourself and give yourself what you need. And if you can do that and still fight for that dream, I hope that's a possibility. I hope that's a reality, because so many people, like you said, get to the end of their life and they're on their deathbed and they're just wondering, like, what if I had stayed in Los Angeles? What if I did, try to push through that hardship, and I wanted to give up? And more times than not, it's just like they'll never know, and they'll always wonder that. And I don't wish that on anyone. I don't wish that on my worst enemy. I don't wish that on anybody, So, yeah.
Shout out to your husband, Alex, too. I've met him a few times. I think he's a really nice guy, and he seems very supportive of what you do. And I think that's commendable. You know what I mean? Because it's you guys seem to have like a true partnership, and that's really cool.
Thank you. We do. And who knows? We went to Minnesota just as like a little like escape away from, just life. We went back to Minnesota just to visit a good friend there. Mm-hmm. And we started singing because he loves to sing, and I sing from time to time. And we were singing some harmonious songs, and we're like, we should do that. We should tag out. So you literally stay tuned. You might see Alex and Ayana.
Hey, just invite me to the album release. Like.
It's a possibility. So he's gonna be living his dream too. We gonna make that work too. So exactly.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
This has been an incredible conversation. I really appreciate you taking the time, and you're such every time I've been around, whether it was in class or running into you or whatever, you just always have just a good energy and a positive vibe. And I'm not surprised when I see you becoming successful, because it's like, that's good energy, right? Like, that's you are manifesting what it is you want to do, and that's the universe rewards that, so.
Two things I want to say before we wrap this up, because I don't want these thoughts and things in my head that we've been talking about to get lost. So the first things you said, manifesting. I've been doing affirmations, and I think that's been really game changing in terms of my mentality, and just like, what am I focusing on? What do I want for myself? And I encourage anyone to do affirmations. And I think I've been doing affirmations wrong my whole life, because at some point I had been doing affirmations, but they weren't like active. You know what I'm saying? They weren't giving me the results I wanted. And so I challenge you, Sam. You said that your friend gave you that quote that was like, looking at yourself, that potential you. What would that potential you look like? What would they be saying? What would they be feeling like? Well, I would take that and say, okay, let's get specific. That's how we do as actors. Let's get specific. What about that potential person are they doing? What does that visually look like or feel like? Let's start writing those things down. And so when I did my affirmations here this last time, I thought about all the things I was afraid of. I was like, what are my biggest fears? What are my biggest insecurities? What are my things that I'm afraid to do? I wrote all the things that I was terrified of, that I was scared to do, wrote all those down, and then flipped it. I made it like, okay, this is what I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is, everything that scared me, I told myself I was going to do it, right? So like even with singing, like I'm not the best singer and I'm very insecure about my voice right now. I'm working on it. But it's like I'm telling myself I am a talented singer. Like I am this. Like I am going to be this person. So that has helped me right now in this journey of my life. Affirmations stemmed from my fears, stemmed from my insecurities, stemmed from my doubts of myself. Just flipping those. And then another thing too, you said earlier about thoughts, how your thoughts and you know your thought process and writing stuff down. I can't tell you, every single time I journal, I realize that I'm putting down those things that are so scary in my brain. They sound weak when I put them on paper. Just like you were saying earlier, it's like why do I let my brain turn something that seems so scary and wrapped up? It's just like, oh my gosh, like this sounds like the worst thing or the scariest thing to do. But then I write it down on paper. I'm like, okay. Like by the end of my journal entry, I'm like, okay, I know exactly what I'm going to do now because I put it on paper. I, disarmed that scary boogeyman of a concept that's just been whirling in my brain, putting it on paper. I was like, whoa, this is not as big as I thought it was. And I can get through it, and I will get through it. All the reasons that you can't, nah, you're fine. They don't add up to much, right? So journaling has been so empowering for me because, like you said, it's just constantly showing the beast that you created in your brain is not as powerful and domineering and controlling and gripping and life sucking as you think it is. So I want to say those two things too: affirmations and journaling, because your thoughts are the windows to your soul and where you're gonna go. So if whatever you're thinking, that's the limit already. That's already your limit. So yeah, okay, I'm done motivational.
No, I was meant to talk to you tonight because this is just this slaps. I don't know if that's the proper lingo these days with these kids, but like, yeah, no, you're exactly right.
Oh, man.
I'll put myself up. Yeah, no, I come up with stuff that's like it will just swell and swell and swell. But then when you like talk it out with someone, or you do write it down, or you really like, wait a minute, like what was I doing? Like I came up with this entire scenario that didn't even exist, and takes up all your mind space. And I realized like we don't have time for that. We don't have time to be filling your mind with stuff and stressing out over nothing, because we got work to do. Like there's a purpose for all of us. But it is crazy. Like you're right. My girlfriend and I went to this, shout out to Eileen Ramirez, her Unearthed. It was a breath workshop. It was incredible. And it just reminded me of like breathing and meditation and sound bowl healings, and really, really good. But it reminded me like doing like how certain practices, no matter what it is for you, if it's working out, if it's meditation, if it's journaling, you can do those all day long. But the second you stop, it's not like someone used the analogy, you just don't do one push-up and you're in shape for the rest of your life. No, you got to do push-ups all the time. Right. And it's crazy with the mind how it just, when you just let it go for a second, whoop, there it goes. It's like a dog that's just, it might stay there when it's on the leash. But right. You let that dog off the leash, if it's not well trained, it's gone.
Right. Oh, that's so true. That's so true. Yeah, really training the brain, what are you allowing to come in? What are you allowing to go out? Being self-aware in that way. I'm getting to a point in my life now where it's just like I have to be so much more intentional about the energy that I'm surrounding myself with, the people that I'm surrounding myself with. Like I was so quick in my younger days where I was like, oh, I want to be accepted and seen by all. I want to fit in. I want to feel like I'm enough. No. I'm enough already. Now I need to go through and surround myself with people who are going to put life into me and not extract, And so I've got to a point now where it's like, even there's some people now that I love and adore and I appreciate, but I have yet to really continue to pour energy into them because I can't, that's not something I can afford to do. I can't afford to give of something that's extracting,
Yeah, I love that. And awesome. I mean, this has been incredible. I always give the guests the last word, but before I do, where can the people find you online if they want to follow you and whatever it is you post in your career? How can they follow?
Okay, y'all. So if y'all want to follow me, I'm a crazy, quirky, bubbly girl who just likes to post what I love to post. So if you want to follow me and you're interested in seeing what I decide to post, you can find me on Instagram. My handle is _ Ayana Taylor _ That's _ AYANA TAYLOR with another underscore. I'm there on Instagram as well as TikTok. That's the same handle I have. You can find me on YouTube. I'm going to start posting more like my personal story and my journey on YouTube coming in May. So I'm making the videos now and I'm going to start uploading them. So if you want to subscribe, kind of like the pre-show, got to get in early, be ready. So when they drop, you just ready. So yeah, I'm there on YouTube. So it's Ayana Taylor on YouTube. And then I have a Facebook page. It's a fan page if you want to follow me there. Ayana Taylor, actor/model. It's usually kind of the same material, but I'm telling you this, Sam, because I know I want to do it, but I want to start making little short videos, short films, just different things where I'm, like I said, what's that one thing I want to share with people? I want to start just putting that into the world so you guys can accept it for whatever it is. So that's mainly going to be on YouTube and Facebook, and then kind of interspersed on Instagram and TikTok. So yeah, if y'all want to follow me there, just Ayana Taylor, AYANA TAYLOR. Thank you guys so much.
Awesome. And I always give the guest the last word. It can be as deep or as shallow as you want. We've gotten pretty deep already, so it can be absolutely anything. It can be a quote, a thought you've been having, a movie you saw, absolutely anything. What do you want to leave us with?
Okay, this sounds very just opposite of everything we've been talking about tonight. Well, not opposite. I wouldn't say that. I would say I need all of you to remember in this pursuit of following your dreams that time is ticking, life is short, and one thing that you can do to continue to preserve your shelf life is to go see a doctor, get your annual checkups, take care of your instrument internally. You don't know what's going on the inside of your body. I had a little of a health scare the beginning of this year that really made me change a lot of the foods that I put in my body, a lot of the ways I go about my lifestyle. So get your annual checkups. If there's something that's bothering you internally or just affecting your body, go get it checked, because I want you guys to be creating for as long as you can. But you can only do that if your insides, if your innards are healthy and functional and at optimum health. So make sure you're drinking a lot of water, getting that sleep, having smoothies with a lot of kale in it. Just do what you can to preserve your instrument, because we can do this until we're 100, but you got to be doing this stuff, proactively, of taking care of your instrument. That's all I have to say.
I love that. And it reminds me of, you got to take care of your car and what gas you put in your cars, how it runs. You got to take the car to the mechanic, make sure everything's in line. But here's the catch. You don't get another car. This is the only car you get.
My mother told me that. I remember I was burning the candle at both ends of the stick in high school, not sleeping, working out day and night for athletics, and, staying up, studying. Like my mom, she's like, Ayana, you only get one body. You can't trade this in for any other thing. And that stuck with me. She's like, you only get one, you can't trade it. Like you're saying, you can't. So it is so important to make sure you're taking care of the one body you have, the one body. You might be able to replace, a kidney or two or this or that, but this is your instrument. You only get one brain. What are you doing to that brain? What are you doing to that liver? What are you doing to your heart? Because you remember, at the end of the day, your body is fighting like the Dickens to keep you alive. Your body is always doing its best to keep you alive, but are you doing your best to take care of it? And that's something like I said, I've had to change my diet and just, all those amazing foods that you shouldn't be eating. Like I've got to the point now where I'm like, okay, this is do or die. either you change your ways now, or surgery, or slicing and dicing, or medication for the rest of your life. Like, nobody wants that. No one wants to have that type of conversation. So that's the last word I'm going to give with you. Make sure you're taking care of your body, and you're going to get those checkups just to make sure everything on the inside. I just really wish our bodies were like translucent or like transparent, where you can like see the disease in your arteries. Because I swear, if you saw some black plague or some black stuff going through your veins, like, what is that? You would stop instantly. A bad habit. You would stop instantly doing stuff to your body, because you see the results. And because we don't see it, it's still a mystery what's going on internally. So that's my last deep word, because I think everyone needs to hear it. And don't take your youth for granted. Do not take your youth for granted. Don't. You better do it now. Do it now. Do it now. Do it now. That's it.
Oh man, I should have brought this up earlier, because we could talk 2 hours on health and fitness, but maybe we'll have to say that for part 2. But thank you for saying that, because you bring up a very I'll wrap this, but like you bring up a very valuable thing, because like people don't realize how, like, you don't realize how good you can feel until you feel that good. But to get to that good, you when you start removing certain foods, when you start adopting certain lifestyles, I cannot promote sleep enough. Like, especially now, like I stay up till like 1 now. I'm trashed the next day, like trashed. And it's like the difference when I go to bed at 10 or 10:30. I'm probably gonna go to bed shortly after this. Like,
good for you. I need to do.
You just feel so good. And the older we get, I'm 35 now. I'm not 25 anymore. So I need sleep is a necessity for me. And just the power a great night's sleep can do, and taking your vitamins and eating clean, and still leaving room for stuff here and there. If you want to treat yourself, that's fine. But man, like how much of disease and illness and sickness would be eliminated if we just ate right, slept and exercised, and worked on like really good mental and spiritual health. It's just, it really can be that simple.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like, we talk about it all the time, like the doctors, they're not in the business of doing anything proactive, because that doesn't cost that they don't get any money from that. They get money from the pills, they get money from the surgeries, they get money from all that stuff. But everything that we could potentially avoid when it comes to disease, cancers, anything can be prevented by doing proactive work. Anything, any disease you have, the choices you make now, in your youth, are going to affect your 70s, your 80s, your 90s, like tremendously. And sleep is one of those things that I did not care for. I was like, I can sleep when I'm dead. I was that way about it. I was like, I don't care. I'll sleep when I'm dead, not knowing that I know I'm going to get to the older age where I'm like, man, I don't want to just live long. I want the quality of life to be good at that age. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Don't have me at 70 just like bent over with the crane. I can't even do anything. Like, no, I want to still be doing yoga. I still want to be going on jogs at 70. You know what I'm saying? And so, but I understand that people don't think like that. They're like in the present. They're like, I want to YOLO. I want to live life now and enjoy it, because, who knows? You may not even guarantee 70. So I understand that too. But I don't know. I'm trying to be in this business, in this industry, for as long as possible. And so, I want to be around. I want to be around for my family. I want to be around for my kids if I plan on having kids. I want to be around to share my stories and this and that. So, and just be around and create for as long as I can with you and everyone. So it's like, I don't know. I have that vested interest, to take care of myself now. And then I'll still, of course, when you get a health scare, that changes everything. You're like, oh my God, I'm going to die. But you know what I'm saying? It's just like, it really is like a, whoa, wake up call. Wake up call, wake up call.
My leg injury changed my life perspective for the rest of my life. Just because whether it's illness or an injury, you just realize just like that, everything can be turned on its head. So you're exactly right. Do it now. And that really has me. I'm like, okay, you think you have a month to do something. You may not have a month to do it. No one knows. And I'll have to talk more about this later, but I do have a project brewing, and you're definitely So I got ideas. So I'll be sure to contact you when I don't know when, but
Man, T-Pop passed away at 24. Look at the life that he had. He's such a colorful, creative life. Died at 24.
one of my favorite artists ever.
I'm telling you, like, what a life. What?
But look how much he did. Like, look how much he did. I mean, that guy was doing 3 songs a day, like a year leading up to his death. And that's why he had like endless material coming out. He lived 10 lifetimes in that short amount of time.
I'm telling you, when I turned 24, I was like, man, I wish I'd done everything Tupac had done. But I still can't, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, I am given that. I'm given every day, you know? So I don't take that for granted. But yeah, what a beautiful person. Yeah. I mean, this is beautiful. And Sam, I mean, I know you're saying this inspired you, but this has totally inspired me so much. So thank you for having me here. Thank you for sharing just all the things that you were talking about and stuff you were relating to what I was saying. I really do appreciate it, because this is very encouraging. It's lifting. It's you know, I've been somewhat of a rut myself beginning of this year. So, you know, just talking to friends, talking to you, people who are on the outside looking in, and their perception of me it's just been really validating and encouraging to move forward even when stuff gets hard and, you know, struggles come your way. So thank you again for having me. This has been so lovely.
Oh, absolutely. And thank you so much for making the time to come on. And yeah, you're such an inspirational person. And I echo the same. I'm very grateful for this moment of time that we're going to capture and put on the internet here. And hopefully some people hear it and it inspires them. And we're all going through the same. That's the thing. We're all going through the same thing. And so when we talk out loud and we speak to each other, like, I mean, everything's okay. That's the thing. Everything's good. So,
closing, Sam, I'm going to read that book that you gave me. I'm going to write you. I'm saying it on the interwebs right now for the whole world to hear. I am going to write Sam back. If it's the last thing I do, you know what? I'm gonna start that tomorrow after I wake up. I'm just gonna do it. Gonna do it because I'm gonna do it now. I'm gonna hold myself accountable.
And I'll write you back.
Sam, that's the thing. I just gotta be consistent. I gotta be consistent about being consistent and writing you back. So it's gonna happen.
I just want to say for the record, and we're closing, is that you wrote some of the best letters back to me. Like, you wrote so many details and the specifics, and I'm like, that's what makes good letter writing. It's like, oh, I got stuff to work with now.
It's weird to dive into. Like, you say one thing, like, we gotta dive into that. What is that about? You gotta give me more. So same likewise. I've never had like a pen pal. So this is like my first experience. So the fact that you care so much and want to write, when they told me that in class that you like write letters to people, I was like, that sounds like so much fun. I want to be on this. So thank you.
Well, thank you for participating, and just stick around for just a sec after I end the recording.
Of course.
But Ayana, thank you so much. Brilliant. I look forward to keep on following with your career, and then also collabing with you hopefully someday in the near future.
Oh, it's gonna happen. We're gonna do it now. We're gonna lock it in, y'all. We're doing it now. Now is the time. Let's go.
All right. Well, bless you, bless your husband, bless everything you got going on. We'll see and talk to each other soon.
All right. Take care.
All right. Peace.